Happy Sunday, y'all. Now I'm gonna show you something. And I know a lot of y'all done been seeing this on y'all feed. But this is a government plot. They want to keep us so divided so bad that they have people that come on here and still talk about minute shit instead of dealing with this system and what has it done to us. I don't see no one complaining about the system, about how we got enslaved, how we got here, how many times they done lied to us, and what difference does it make about where are you from? Because we all been here longer than anybody of this earth. You keep talking about Africa and African American and America. You might well say Africa and America. Two continents that been separated for over 2 million years when they was all together in a place called Pangea. Number two, people have been traveling, black people have been traveling back and forth from Africa, from Russia, to all the way to South America, to Canada, all over the land. Number three, all those places I named was renamed and given a name according to the colonizers and your oppressor. So those names are not even known. Number four, if that's what it is, chattel slavery has demolished the mind frame, the mindset on who we are. Bits and pieces of truth is coming, but people don't see the government infiltration on keeping people divided. As I had discussed with someone today, I don't utilize the color white because of a skin color. I use white due to the fact of a mindset. This government and every other government and every colonization always separated black and white. They always considered themselves, after they colonized you, after we've been befriended, and they took over, and they done what they did. Now they have to have a stipulation between color, between black and white. So they can bring other whites or other people that they also enslaved to be able to control those that they colonized. Mostly workers. Because the money people don't need to be out there doing anything. They pay you to watch over what they stole. This argument is redundant and ridiculous. We all black. So why are you sitting here arguing about which continent you are from? Which continent you was born from? Because both continents travel amongst each other for millions of damn years. And you don't know shit about it because you are just waking up. You're just understanding who you are. You're just trying to identify yourself of who you really are. After 250 years since they want to come, say how much freedom that they had. Even though that concept has been going back further than that. So to eliminate this is one thing that I know that we should all know. We are considered Moors. So much history had been burnt, destroyed, and obliterated. But it's in your soul. It's in your bloodline. It's in your spirit. And I don't consider this for white people too. It's not about the color of your skin. I don't consider that white and black. That it's not about the color of your skin. It's about the mindset. It's about the mindset the government utilize to teach people to keep us divided and keep us fighting against each other. To keep us for never not being able to come together. That's the problem. I'm going to play this video and I want y'all to check this out because it has nothing to do with the continent that you're on. Pay attention.
That they're African and need to be proud of that and accept it from a DNA perspective. Let's get into it. Vic Mensa opened up his video sharing the average DNA results for the Black American with 73% African, followed by European and Native American. This is an autosomal DNA test. And people keep putting these DNA tests in Black American spaces like it's some kind of gotcha moment, but they don't read the white paper, the fine print for the DNA, autosomal DNA test. If you don't want to read the whole thing, be sure to read the reference panel. That's how they determine where you are from based off the DNA strain. So these reference panels tell us that the DNA test is an estimate, an educated guess. Under perfect circumstances, we would construct our reference panel using ancient DNA samples of our true ancestors for each person likely to be an Ancestry DNA customer, etc. Unfortunately, it's not possible to sample historical populations. We must rely on DNA samples collected from individuals alive today who can trace their ancestry to a single geographic location. Raise your
Now what he said, all that to say what? First of all, who created this DNA anyway? The Europeans. Who doing all the studying on identifying who we are? The Europeans. Who's learning who's not part of a particular race and that we're different? The Europeans. So these people making these arguments for what? Put your answers down in what the purpose of the argument. We was labeled or classified as African Americans since Jesse Jackson. Before that, we was considered what? Negroes, Indians. You know, even people not indigenous people. You still don't have an identification of who you are. Indigenous what? Indigenous means somebody that been old, but that don't mean anything because you still don't have a title. You don't know who you are. And people been trying to tell you you are more. Or more connects us all together. And I'm going to show you another key. You got the Masons. You got the lodges. You got the Shriners. You know, that's a brotherhood. And it's a brotherhood different than you ain't got to be from the same family or the same bloodline. But you establish a brotherhood. You don't think that we had a brotherhood? I mean, they still can't explain how the pyramid was built. They still can't explain a lot of things. They still finding things and still trying to figure it out. Because why? Because they killed the source. They killed the people that can teach you or would teach us. And they know that they could not allow a person with a pure blood and mind frame to be able to have what they needed because they have to establish power. They have to establish control. And in order for them to do that, they have to have complete control of even the things that you are not allowed to learn. So by this DNA, this debate about this is ignorant. We are all black people. We all go through the same thing. We all gonna get picked on by the police. We all gonna get discriminated on in public, and we gonna all be looked at the same, no matter what are your title. Now, we got blacks that sold out. We got blacks that conform, and we got blacks that are gatekeepers to protect the people that oppress you anyway. for money, for greed, for being able you to pay somebody else to live on your land. And they not only doing it in America, as you can see the wars that they establish all over the country, is that they trying to establish that same type of dominance everywhere. And if you don't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. But this discussion needs to die because he's not proving any point. But just to show you, he might be a gatekeeper. I'm gonna find out more about him. But this
and if you're a Black American and been told that your ancestors come from somewhere in Africa. Exactly. Okay, that brings me to the next problem. So Dr. Lakeisha David has been trying to connect Black Americans to their living relatives in Africa for about almost 10 years now, because I reached out to her back in 2019, I believe. And she is having a hard time. She's giving out free DNA kits in Chicago. So if you live in Chicago, go take a DNA test with Dr. Lakeisha David to see if you have living relatives in Africa. Now, when it comes to the Clotilda and the descendants from the Clotilda, one of my cousins is a descendant of one of the survivors from the Clotilda. And even on his DNA test, he's not matching any living relatives in Africa. Now, let's take a step back further and look what Black...
Now, man, Lord have mercy, Jesus. What kind of shit is this? This proves my point. How can we connect with our living relatives back in Africa after so many thousands of years? I can't even get in contact with family I have here. My mother was adopted, so I don't even know my real grandparents. I did a DNA test and found out I got cousins here, but at the same time, we not even connecting. Because America, what the purpose? Living relatives. My grandparents probably gone. I ain't never got a chance to meet them. I don't really know half of my family. And that's right here in America. So then to try to connect yourself to somebody living in Africa is fucking ridiculous. It's thousands of years done passed by after they done did some of the... Christopher Columbus discovered America, or they said, in 1492. Here it is, 2026. Nobody in America can identify themselves to a living and descendant from America. So let's make that make sense. I'm going to leave that there because ignorance is bliss. This man sitting here and wasted all this time trying to prove what? You can't prove anything when people in America that only can tell you about the experiences that they had in America. No other place but here. 9 times out of 10, then nobody cannot identify with nobody past the 1900s identifying them with somebody of this race. You don't know if you was an Aztec, a Mayan, a Olmec, a Wichita, a Yamasee, and even though they're claiming to be of that particular tribe, that can still be a government plot just to make things even smaller so we can continue to still be divided. Because even if they acknowledge themselves as whatever tribe you come from,
2:00 p.m.
if you have no power, you have no voice. It's powers in numbers. Even if 1,000 people, and they say, well, we're going to recognize the Yamasee tribe with 1,000 members. But so what? You still going to have to work. You still going to have to make money. Even if you be self-sufficient, you ain't going to be able to do shit else. And when they decide to renege like they always renege, then you just out of luck. People wake up. Much love. Peace out. Later.